Hello, everybody. We're here at IBC, and I'm very happy to have Karim with us. Karim is actually the Managing Director of Broadcast and Networks at TDF, and he's also a member of the Executive Committee at TDF. And maybe, Karim, you can explain a little bit yourself, who you are, what your background is, and what your role is at TDF.
Thank you, Ben, for having me. Indeed, I'm with TDF and managing the broadcast and networks activities. Personal background, I'm an engineer. I have a keen interest in technology and software in general. I've been in the telecom industry for about 10 years and then more in the industrial software and industrial IoT space for probably another 10 years. And also have some entrepreneurial experience in particular around software as a service. And so in my current role, of course, I spend a lot of time with customers. I spend a lot of time on operations, but I also spend a lot of time on digital transformation and our information systems.
And I think people are very familiar with TDF. It's a big brand. It's a company with a vast infrastructure across France and even on a global scale. They do a lot of a lot of different types of services. I do know that it has a really impeccable reputation also in the market. But maybe you can explain a little bit to people that are not that familiar. Maybe what is TDF? What are they doing? What are they known for?
Yes, TDF is the historical broadcast network operator in France, and so we operate the DTT and FM radio as well as DAB plus networks. But the company has really evolved from what it was 50 years ago and has now become much broader in its activities. We are a towerco, so we own and operate sites where we host MNOs. We actually started also some fiber activities, and more recently, we are providing private mobile network solutions to industrial customers, and we're also expanding into indoor coverage as well as data centers. So it's a pretty broad range of activities. We define ourselves as an infrastructure and networks operator.
Okay, and maybe one interesting thing is, when we met the first time, you did not approach us just to look for a replacement of some legacy technologies that you had. It was clear that you had a vision, that you felt like, hey, times are changing. We need to change this organization in many different ways. And you were looking for very specific technologies that would help you to achieve those goals. Could you explain a little bit maybe how you look towards the future, what you see changing, and what your vision and plans were, to transform TDF?
Sure. So when we met, we were really in the middle of a thought process on how our entire digital infrastructure had to evolve to help us meet the challenges and the new opportunities we saw in the market. We were starting our activities in private mobile networks. We were looking at new avenues of growth. And so we started to look at all our systems, and in particular, what is absolutely core for us, which is our network operations centers. And there we wanted, as you said, not just to replace like for like our legacy systems, but really build a platform on which we could sort of look at the next 10 or 20 years and really have the opportunity to meet to face new challenges and sort of capture some of the new customers we saw in the market. We clearly had in mind to have a platform that was really data-driven, that was flexible, and so that's how our conversation started, I guess. Yes.
Indeed, and I think I fully agree with that. The industry is changing, the landscape is changing very quickly, and it's changing quite fundamentally. We have transitions from hardware to software, we have cloud services, IP connectivity, and I always try to explain to people also like, hey, this is fundamentally changing everything that we have ever known. Okay, these are technologies that can be used in so many different ways. They continuously evolve. It's software, and it gives you so many new opportunities. And one thing I always like to underline is also the fact that one of the key strategic capabilities should be continuous evolution. You have no idea what's coming around the corner. Could be new competitors, new business models, new demands from customers, but also new technologies that can enable you to do things more efficiently, more easily. And the only thing that you can do is not to try to predict what's coming and just to be ready as an organization to kind of capture the opportunities and to transform them very quickly into value for the organization. But with DataMiner, indeed, I would say the objective is to put a organization into a position where they can continuously do that, okay? To continuously look for new opportunities to deliver new value. Now, I know your deployment has been quite, recent, but did you see already maybe some practical examples or, examples where you say, hey, that was immediate value that was delivered, and then we can start looking at the next iteration where we can, again, deliver value for the organization?
Yeah, absolutely. I could at least have sort of three good examples. I think the first one is our ability to just add new equipment under supervision or under monitoring. We started off with parts of our network, and immediately we realized we had a blind spot, and wanted to add some of our sort of key equipment monitored at the Eiffel Tower. And we were able to do that in a matter of weeks with DataMiner, as opposed to having go through a very lengthy process of redeveloping the tool that was in place there. I think another really surprise to some extent is the ability to expose DataMiner to our customers. We were able to do that again in a matter of weeks without developing any code, in a very easy and fluid way. And that was really crucial in terms of significantly impacting positively the customer satisfaction, because they had never had that ability to see what we were doing, and but also to adapt the portals in a very flexible way. And then even more recently, with the Olympic Games, we were under pressure to very quickly adapt our operational procedures to switch satellite uplinks in case we had, some incidents on our main uplink. And what would have been a very difficult process and a long development cycle to actually script this with our previous system, we were able to develop the scripts and automate this process in a matter of a few hours, and that was very, very critical for us as well. So 3 examples of just the ability of the platform to adapt, react, and offer us new options, new opportunities, which we did not necessarily forecast initially.
Yeah, and I think those are very good examples indeed. Especially also, for example, providing customers with data, real life data. The old days, it's all about having tools in a network operation center or an MCR, people on calls trying to exchange information. And it's indeed something we've focused a lot on. We call it data consumption. The goal of DataMiner is not only to collect the data and get value from the data, but making sure that all the stakeholders can really benefit from the data. Could be customers, could be end users, could be different people from the management to the operations team. Everybody has value from data. Now, another thing I always say is you need to also look at it from the angle of the new challenges that we have. The new technology is very exciting. The flexibility, the agility, the potential to innovate and to do all these new exciting things. But at the same time, I think a lot of the transformational technology, it gives us new headaches. It's much more complex. There's a lot of data, a lot of moving parts there. It's a little bit more obscure to exactly see what's happening there. Cybersecurity is a big point of attention. Everybody wants to maintain a secure facility, but then, you have these complex environments, and a lot of things can happen in there, without even people being aware. And I always say, growing towards a more professional digital transformation architecture gives you more robustness in terms of security. It's kind of making it less of a headache, something you have to think about every single day. Is that also your experience?
Yes, absolutely. Part of our thought process was to really rely on unified platforms for the big functional areas of the enterprise, and in particular, again, around our NOC. The choice to go with DataMiner was also driven by the idea that we wanted to rely on a professional platform that would take care of all cybersecurity aspects. Before that, we had a number of different internal system, external systems, which obviously offered a lot of vulnerability points, and we had the responsibility and the headache to try to coordinate the security postures of all these systems. So again, moving to DataMiner this goes away. Obviously, you're able also to mutualize all the effort and the development, which is more and more costly around cybersecurity or on the whole platform, a cost that we can no longer bear given the complexities that we see to be really fully cyber secure. So that's definitely one of the key requirements we had.
So yeah, we talked about continuous evolution. The platform is in place. You're ready, to step into that new digitized world. You have a very powerful digital twin now sitting there in DataMiner. You talked a little bit about quick wins, quick value that you were seeing already. But looking forward, do you see already on the horizon new opportunities for the organization? Are you thinking about that already? What would be potentially the next steps for you guys? Or maybe there's already things that you're experimenting with, things that you're trying out. Can you maybe shed a little bit of light on that?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a lot of exciting ideas that we're already starting to test. The platform has really helped us uncover data and helped us sort of make sense of the data we had, and we want to continue working on that. I'll give you one example. Up to now, we hadn't really worked in a systematic way on trending. And so that's definitely a new avenue for us. We have equipment that's aging, so there's a lot of signals we can pick up, and I think there's a lot of value there for us in terms of obviously cost savings, just detecting failures earlier, and obviously also for our customers in terms of customer satisfactions with just less incidents on the network. So that's one example of sort of new areas we're going to work on. And then, of course, AI. AI is something we've experimented and we're now putting in production in a number of areas, and we want to apply it to DataMiner and the data underlying it. And so we see a lot of opportunity there to just streamline the processes in our network operations center. So a lot more exciting things to do going forward.
Okay, and I think that's spot on. It's really about looking to the future, what's ahead of you, what opportunities lie there. AI is definitely going to play a very big role in that, I think. And I think DataMiner really provides two angles on this. We have the built-in AI functions, which is more kind of in the area of the trending that you indicated, where DataMiner kind of looks more at behavior of equipment and resources in the network. But then, of course, there's also LLMs and all that are coming up. And it's very important. LLMs are LLMs, and it's all about your data. That's your value, and how can you bring two together, to generate new value for the organization. So pretty excited to see what's going to come up, and maybe we can do an update next year and let people know what you have done within the context of your digital transformation. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.